Hello and welcome to Indus News. Live from Islamabad, I'm Naila Shujar and these are the headlines. In India, thousands of farmers have staged a sit-in on Delhi's Jaipur highway as they continue their protest against the controversial farm laws they say favor big corporates. They have also announced a hunger strike on Monday as pressure mounts on Prime Minister Narendra Modi's government to repeal the laws. In Pakistan, at least 20 people have been injured in an explosion near a police station in Rawalpindi. Police officials said that the cause of the blast is too soon to be ascertained. Two people have been killed and as many wounded in an IED blast and a gun attack in Afghanistan's capital, Kabul. Police say that the vehicle of a member of Afghan parliament was targeted in the attack. No group has claimed responsibility for the attack yet. The blast followed the suspension of Doha peace talks till the 5th of January. In the United Kingdom and the EU have agreed to continue post-Brexit trail talks before Sunday's deadline to reach an agreement. The understanding was reached during a phone call between Britain's Prime Minister Boris Johnson and European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen. The number of COVID-19 infections in the United States has crossed 16 million, while the U.S. deaths are approaching 300,000, with the first vaccine shipments due on Monday. Brazil has reported nearly 44,000 more infections and 686 fatalities in the past 24 hours. Meanwhile, Pakistan has recorded over 3,300 cases and 72 fatalities overnight, while the death toll is nearing 8,800. Globally, the virus has claimed more than 1.6 million lives and infected over 71 million people so far. And in boxing, unified world heavyweight champion Anthony Joshua has knocked out PULEV. Joshua's barrage of uppercuts in the 9th round dropped by the 39-year-old challenger, wiping him out with a straight right hand. British heavyweights win bolsters hope for a historic fight with Tyson Fury. For more news and details, stay tuned. We'll be right back after a short break. Welcome back. In India, thousands of farmers have staged a sit-in on Delhi-Jaipur highway as they continue their protest against the controversial farm laws they say favor big corporates. They have also announced a hunger strike on Monday as the protest continues for the 18th day. Police have detained several protesters in an attempt to stop them from blocking major highways into New Delhi. The widespread demonstration that has now entered its 3rd week has drawn international concern, with pro-farmer rallies held in Canada, New York, and Britain. Farmers are of the view that the new laws could devastate crop prices and reduce their earnings. But the government insists that the reforms will allow them to market their produce and boost production through private investment. Several rounds of talks to achieve a breakthrough have remained unsuccessful. 2 people have been killed and as many wounded in an IED blast and gun attack in Afghanistan's capital, Kabul. Police say that a vehicle of a member of Afghan parliament was targeted in the attack. Meanwhile, police say unknown gunmen killed a judge in the city of Kabul. No group has claimed responsibility for the attacks yet. Earlier on Sunday, Kabul also witnessed multiple rocket attacks in various parts of the city. In Doha, the negotiating teams of Kabul and the Taliban say the next round of peace talks have been delayed till the 5th of January. They say that the decision was taken to make more time for consultations on the agenda.
Taliban spokesperson Mohammad Naeem said both sides exchanged an initial list of agenda items. He said the two sides will start discussing agenda items for the inter-Afghan talks from December 14. Afghan negotiator Nadir Nadiri also said that they have agreed to conduct more consultations, but he did not mention whether the talks will be convened in Doha or somewhere else. This comes after National Security Advisor Hamdullah Mohib said Kabul is ready to hold talks with the Taliban in any part of the country they suggest. Earlier this month, negotiators agreed on procedural rules for the talks.
The United Kingdom and the EU have agreed to continue post-Brexit trade talks beyond Sunday's deadline in a bid to reach an agreement. The understanding was reached during a phone call between Britain's Prime Minister Boris Johnson and European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen. Negotiators were given until Sunday to resolve an impasse on arrangements that would guarantee the UK zero tariff and zero quota access to the EU's single market. But now they have once again given talks a chance. The United Kingdom is due to stop following EU trading rules on the 31st of December. The two sides could impose tariffs on each other's goods in case of a no deal. In the United States, President Donald Trump's supporters have staged protests across the country, decreeing his loss in the election. A rally in Washington turned violent as pro-Trump Proud Boys brawled with left-wing counter-protesters in downtown.
The two groups shouted insults at each other across the street near McPherson Square, with some setting off fireworks. Police in riot gear moved in quickly to break up the sporadic clashes. President Trump acknowledged his supporters in the Capitol by having his helicopter fly in a ring above the protest site. Protests were also planned in Georgia, Pennsylvania, Michigan, Wisconsin, Nevada, and Arizona. Meanwhile, Wisconsin Supreme Court termed Trump's campaign's lawsuit seeking to annul 221,000 votes smacks of racism. Trump campaign has suffered a string of defeats in its legal bid to overturn election results.
Thousands of Israelis took to the streets of Jerusalem in protest against Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. They slammed his indictment on charges of corruption and mishandling of COVID-19 pandemic. The crowds rallied outside Netanyahu's office residence. They blew whistles, waved signs and flags calling for his resignation.
I'm here in order to make a change. We have a prime minister who's divisive, who is splitting the country, who is ruining our economy, and who is undermining the structure of democracy.
Gunmen have killed hundreds of school children in Nigeria's northwestern Katsina state. Officials say some 400 students are missing. Police said that the gang, armed with AK-47, stormed the government science secondary school. The governor of the state ordered immediate closure of all boarding secondary schools in the state. Nigeria's President Buhari condemned the attack. He said the security agencies have swung into action and were on the trail of the bandits. Last month, scores of farmers were killed by the ISIS in Borno State massacre. In Venezuela, the opposition has concluded a popular consultation to renounce President Nicolas Maduro's government. The consultation proposed by Juan Guaido kicked off virtually, but ended with an in-person participation. With 87% of responses viewed, the opposition reported a total participation of just under 6.5 million people. More than 3 million people voted in person, with some 2.4 million online. The opposition said about 845,000 Venezuelans abroad took part in the process. Although aimed at exhibiting a broad rejection of Maduro, the consultation does not offer a clear path towards a change of government. Meanwhile, government says that 5.2 million Venezuelans voted in the opposition boycotted parliamentary elections. In Pakistan, 72 people have lost their lives to COVID-19 over the past 24 hours. This has pushed the nationwide death toll to 8,796. Health officials reported 3,369 new infections overnight. Meanwhile, there are more than 46,000 active COVID-19 cases in the country. The health ministry says out of over 438,000 countrywide cases, more than 383,000 people have recovered. Meanwhile, Pakistan has increased vaccine procurement funds to $250 million and signed agreements with various multinational companies. The vaccine will be available for the masses by the end of 2021. The number of COVID-19 infections in the United States has crossed 16 million, while the United States deaths are approaching 300,000, with the first vaccine shipments due on Monday. Globally, the virus has claimed more than 1.6 million lives and infected over 71 million people so far. More about the COVID-19 and its vaccine in this report.
More than a year after the first case of COVID-19 was recorded, nations are hoping vaccines might prove to be the panacea. Brazil has unveiled a national vaccination plan with an initial goal of immunizing 1/4 of the population in the first half of 2021. The Brazilian Health Ministry has reported nearly 44,000 more infections and 686 fatalities in the past 24 hours. In the US, where the virus is raging, Pfizer has launched the largest and most complex vaccine distribution project.
We expect 145 sites across all the states to receive vaccine on Monday, another 425 sites on Tuesday, and the final 66 sites on Wednesday, which will complete the initial delivery of the Pfizer orders for vaccine.
Meanwhile, in Europe, Italy is downgrading coronavirus risk levels in 5 regions. French theaters, cinemas and other venues say they will go to court to force the government to allow them to reopen. And in Spain, police controlled thousands of residents who crowded central Madrid ahead of Christmas.
Depende de la calle.
It depends on the street. It is true that there are streets that are so crowded that you think here it seems that the coronavirus has not existed. But then there are areas where you do walk quietly.
In Asia, India has reported nearly 400 COVID-19 deaths and over 30,000 infections overnight, while its caseload has crossed 9.85 million. South Korea has registered a record daily increase in novel coronavirus cases for a second straight day with 1,030 new infections. China reported 24 new cases across the mainland, but the Australian state of New South Wales has recorded a 9th straight day without a local infection.
Thousands of people are bracing for floods on Australia's subtropical east coast. Beaches are closed, with authorities urging people to sandbag their homes and avoid driving. New South Wales and Queensland states are in the midst of the first La Nina rainstorm of the season. The area received rainfall as high as 475 millimeters in the previous hours. The Bureau of Meteorology has issued a severe weather warning for the area. Just a week earlier, nearby Fraser Island was evacuated due to bushfires, a sign of the erratic weather. La Nina weather pattern typically features strong rain combined with climate change. It's now time for a short break. Stay with us. Welcome back. In Pakistan, at least 25 people have been injured in an explosion near a police station in Rawalpindi. Police officials said that the cause of the blast is too soon to certain. This is the second attack near a police station in 10 days. Earlier in December, 1 person was killed and 7 wounded in an IED blast in Rawalpindi. In China, a memorial ceremony was held to mourn the 300,000 victims of the Nanjing massacre committed by Japan in 1937. It was the 7th service since the date was designated as the National Memorial Day for Nanjing massacre victims. With thousands in attendance, the ceremony was held at the square in the front of Memorial Hall in Nanjing. China's national flag flew at half-mast as sirens blared in the capital city of Jiangsu province. Sirens held over the city. On the streets, drivers parked their cars and honked. Pedestrians paused and observed a moment of silence. A member of the Chinese Communist Party, Sen Qi, delivered a memorial speech. Floral wreaths were presented to the altar by members of the Guard of Honor. A Chinese space capsule bringing back the first moon rocks in more than 4 decades has begun its trip back to Earth. It spent about 6 days in lunar orbit. The China National Space Administration said the Chang'e 5 lunar orbit probe left the orbit by activating 4 engines for about 22 minutes. The mission landed on the moon earlier this month and collected about 2 kilograms of samples. The return capsule is expected to land in northern China in the Inner Mongolia region in the mid of December. The samples would first be brought back since the Soviet Union's Luna 22 probe in 1976. The 3rd Hainan Island International Film Festival has concluded in the Sanya South City, China province. The festival received over 4,000 entries from 114 countries and regions. More in this report.
189 films from 60 countries and regions have been selected for cinemas across Hainan. 2020 China Fights, a 4K resolution documentary film made by China Media Group about the country's battle against COVID-19 epidemic, made its debut during the film festival. Producer of the documentary said the film reviewed the touching scenes during the epidemic through the perspectives of 3 ordinary people. Wang Xinjian said it shows a medic supporting Hubei, a volunteer, and a girl of the post-90s generation in Wuhan. He said through the scenes, people can feel the warmth of the world and the strength of China. A series of activities including a film panorama, venture capital conferences, forums and summits were held during the film festival. After the closing ceremony of the film festival, the Island Carnival will continue to tour and many excellent films will be shown on Hainan Island.
The much-loved British Christmas tradition of Fantomane has been saved thanks to production staged in car parks. Throughout the festive season, the Birmingham Stage Company will perform Horrible Christmas across the United Kingdom. More about the tradition in this report.
A drive-in performance of a Christmas pantomime is touring outdoor venues across the UK. The car park Panto tells the story of a young boy trying to save Christmas. Audience participation is limited to honking horns and flashing headlamps. Actor and company manager Neil Foster described it as a totally unique way of doing theatre.
I like to make kids cry.
It's very peculiar. You're dependent much more on your fellow actors in a way, because you can't connect so much with the audience as you normally would in a theatre. You can't feel the atmosphere in the same way. You play off each other. But you know that everyone's sitting there, and you can see the front row. You can see few people through the windshield. So when we do the audience interaction, you can see it happening.
For audience members in Chelmsford in Eastern England, the production was different to the usual pantomime, but a triumph nonetheless. In line with coronavirus safe guidelines, the cast and crew have been in bubbles since rehearsals began and will spend Christmas together as performances run until January 3rd. Foster said the production was a saving grace for the actors, many of whom have not had an acting job since March. Audience appreciated the effort of the company, saying it's a relief amid COVID restrictions.
It's really nice because there's hardly anything on, especially for the kids. They're missing out so many things they would normally do this time of year. So it's really nice that there's something they can come along to.
Meanwhile, houses festooned with Christmas lights are some of the only festive attractions which remain possible in Germany and Austria this year. In Austria, the Goldnuber family has bedecked their house and garden with some 600,000 LEDs over 5,000 square meters. Meanwhile, in Germany, pensioner Bernhard Dobitz spent around 7 weeks installing his Christmas light installation. A former electrician, he has been decorating his house for 40 years.
African-American country singer Charley Pride has died of complications from COVID-19. He was 86 years old. Pride's final performance was on the 11th of November at the Country Music Association Awards Show in Nashville. Between 1967 and 1987, he delivered 52 top 10 country hits. He joined the Country Music Hall of Fame in 2000. Music star Dolly Parton wrote on Twitter. She said that she was heartbroken as one of her dearest friends passed away. In boxing, Unifield World Heavyweight Champion Anthony Joshua has knocked out KUBRAT PULEV. Joshua's barrage of uppercuts in the 9th round dropped the 39-year-old challenger, wiping him out with a straight right hand. Joshua's exhibition of power and patience was witnessed by 1,000 fans at Wembley Arena. Having suffered a defeat against Andy Ruiz Jr. in December, the English boxer was punch perfect against PULEV. The Bulgarian briefly tried to smile and roar in the face of adversity, but no avail. British heavyweights win bolsters hopes for a historic fight with Tyson Fury. In cricket, Pakistan's deal a big blow as skipper Babar Azam has been ruled out of 3-match T20 series against New Zealand. Azam's drop from playing 11 follows a fracture in his right thumb he sustained during a practice session. Pakistan Cricket Board says that Azam will not be able to practice for at least 12 days. PCB added that the batting mainstay was in a race against time to be fit for the first of 2 test match series. In a statement, Pakistan head coach Misbah-ul-Haq hoped for Azam's complete fitness ahead of a long cricket season. Green shirts suffered his injury a day after top-order batsman Iman-ul-Haq fractured his left thumb. Pakistan's T20 vice-captain Shadab Khan was also carrying a groin niggle. In football, champions Bayern Munich drew Union Berlin 1-1 to retain their top spot in the Bundesliga table. Grisha Pröllmill's glancing header from a corner stunned the visitors, giving Union their lead in the 6th minute. Bundesliga top scorer Lewandowski scored a Bayern in the 67th minute with his 13th goal of the campaign. In another fixture, VfB Stuttgart thrashed hosts Borussia Dortmund 5-1 to maintain their winning streak. Celis Wamgituka, Philip Forster, Tanguy Kulbli, and Nicolas Gonzalez scored 1 for each Stuttgart. The win moves Stuttgart up to 6th place in the Bundesliga with 17 points, while Dortmund slips to 5th place with 19 points. In the English Premier League, Dwight Gale scored the winner for Newcastle as they beat West Brom 2-1 at St James Park. Gale came off the bench to find the net with a header 8 minutes from the stoppage time. Newcastle took the lead after just 20 seconds, which was equalized by West Brom after the break. In another fixture, Aston Villa narrowly beat Wolverhampton Warriors by 1-0. Villa snatched the victory in the final moments of the game thanks to Anwar El Ghazi's goal from a penalty. And in the Spanish La Liga, Real Madrid have defeated leaders Atletico Madrid 2-0. The victory has moved Real Madrid to 3rd place in the league with 23 points. Carlos Casemiro's 15th-minute header gave the hosts a deserved lead at the Atletico Di Stefano Stadium. Spanish Daniel Carvalho's second-half strike from outside the box rebounded off the post and in off the back of the Atletico's goalkeeper. The defeat comes as Atletico's first in 26 league games. The two sides have safely progressed the Champions League last 16. In the 2020 opening of FIS Snowboard World Cup, Czech Republic's Ester Lidica and Italian Roland Fischneller have claimed wins at Italy's framed Cortina.
With no fans in attendance due to COVID-19 restrictions, Olympic PGS champ Lidica outdueled German Selena Jorg in the women's big final by 0.86 of a second to earn the victory. German Ramona Theresia Hofmeister took the final step of the women's podium with the defeat of Cheyenne Locke in the 3rd place race. On the men's side, it was home favorite Fischneller taking his 4th parallel giant slalom win in a row with his 0.45 of a second victory over countryman Aaron March. Austrian Benjamin Karl narrowly defeated Italian Mirko Felicetti in the 3rd place race to fill out the men's podium. The FIS Snowboard World Cup now heads to Carezza in Italy for next weekend's PGS event.
In golf, Japan's Hinako Shibuno put in her shakiest round yet at the U.S. Women's Open, but managed to maintain a 1-stroke lead over American Amy Olsen heading into the final round. The 2019 British Open champion bookended her trip with 2 bogeys en route to a 3rd round 3 over 74. Shibuno admitted that she was very nervous as the bright lights of the championship got to her. The tournament is being held without spectators due to the COVID-19 pandemic. For the latest news updates, you can follow us on our social media at Indus.News.